Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Gururo with a new video titled 15 internship interview questions and how to answer them. When you have an internship interview lined up, you might wonder what interview questions you will be asked. To help, we have a list of the most common internship interview questions and suggested responses. Internship usually have a similar application and interview process as a job opening. Review a set of commonly asked interview questions for intern before you meet the hiring manager. When preparing for an internship interview, practice responses to the most commonly asked questions to give the best answer possible and have the higher chance of getting hired. Gain experience during an internship to increase your marketability and the number of jobs you receive. To increase your confidence and prepare for this new experience, study the list of potential interview questions and suggestions on how to respond. Question number 1. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Serving as a warm-up question, the hiring manager or team is likely to ask you to tell them about yourself. While it's a general question with many possible responses, you should talk about your current degree program, the year you are in, and the career that you plan to pursue. The majority of the response should focus on your education and plans. However, you could add a detail or two about your hobbies and interests at the end of your answer. Before moving ahead, I would like to let you know that Gururo has tied up with top international universities and offers all courses across all continents except Antarctica. Check the link in the description to get a free consultation to get your dream university. Question number 2. Why are you interested in this internship? To answer this question, consider what goals you expect to achieve during the internship. Then, using those goals, explain what skills you want to learn and how this opportunity will help you grow your career while helping the community or the industry. Include company specific information here, like how your personalities and value will fit perfectly with the corporate culture. Discuss a recent award the company won and how you would like to learn the award winning skills. To find company specific information, review the company website, blog, social channels and news sources for any event they may be celebrating at the time. Question number 3. What are your career goals? State a career goal you plan to achieve in 5 to 10 years related to the internship. Includes a series of small steps leading to your ultimate long-term goal. Conclude your response by explaining why the goal is important to you and how the internship is the first step toward achieving it. Question number 4. What skills do you have that make you good fit for this internship? During an internship interview, you will be likely be asked discuss your skills and how they align with the internship. To prepare for this question, review the job description. You will find a list of excellent skills for the internship. Highlight the skills that you have and support your statement with your experiences. Be sure to mention your technical skills which can be tied to your classwork and your workplace skills like communication, collaboration and ambition. Question number 5. Please tell us a time when you worked well as a part of a team. When recruiters ask this, they want to know that you can work effortlessly with others. For example, you could mention working on a team project for a class or a previous job, how you collaborate when you volunteer. Explain the project or situation and their positive outcomes. Question number 6. Please tell us about a challenge that you faced and overcame. To answer this question, state the problem you faced and avoid blaming anyone for causing it. The question is means to assess your ability to adapt. The challenge can be small or big as long as you explain your actions to overcome it and improve the situation. Ideally, the challenge will include other people instead of an individual challenge that you overcame. Question number 7. Please tell us about a time you took a leadership role. The hiring team want to hear that you are an intern with drive. You can mention when you led a class project or a problem you identified and worked to improve. Include how you took the right actions to lead the group to success. Question number 8. What are your strengths? Despite appearances, this common question is not a trick, it's a gift. Answer as truthfully as possible, focusing on strengths that will make you an excellent fit for this particular role. For a strong response, name 3 strengths that best reflect you and then support them with evidence including award, accolades and specific anecdote. Choosing strengths directly related to the job and demonstrate your ability to settle into the position faster and perform better than anyone else. Try your best to avoid cliché answers that interviewer had likely heard a million times. Instead, think outside the box to experiences where your unique abilities improve the situations. Question number 9. What are your weaknesses? The question is popular among interviewers and feared candidate on the other side of the strengths coin. Again, back up your responses with evidence and stay away from cliches. Perfectionism is not a weakness, nor is working too hard. The interviewer knows you are a human and wants an accurate picture of you. The key here is to choose weaknesses that are not factual deficiencies. This is an interview, not a therapy session, and are not vital to the job. For example, if you are interviewing to be an accountant, don't say that you are wrong with number. Be honest about your weaknesses, but come prepared to talk about how you are improving yourself. Employers want to see that you are taking action to address your shortcomings and improve. For both strengths and weaknesses, practice make perfect. Be ready with clear strength and appropriate inadequacies, and then back up your answer with concise, detailed stories. When you have an excellent or unique experience in your daily life, please write it down for a minute or two. You never know when you might need to share it in a future interview. Question number 10. How would your boss, friends, or co-worker describe you? This can be tricky if you haven't thought about it ahead of time. Consider recent feedback you have received, both positive and negative. The point of this question is to see if you are self-aware, so a good response will include two positive traits and one need improvement to show that you are insightful and honest. As always, back up your answer with evidence. This question also allows you to share more of your personality. Do people laugh at your jokes? Do they turn to you for advice? Are you the life of the party or a laid-back observer? Because you won't have your boss, friend workers or co-worker beside you while you answer this question, you have some leeway. But be cautious. If you are hired, your new employer will want to see that sense of humor you talk about in your interview. Question number 11. What are your hobbies? Try not to overthink this question. Hiring manager don't ask it to trip you up. Instead, they genuinely want to learn something about you and make sure you are a good fit for their company personality wise. Again, honesty is the best policy here. You don't want to lie and say something you think is impressive, like that karate is one of your hobbies, and only to find out the hiring manager is a black belt and want to know more about your dojo. Instead, share a few hobbies that demonstrate your commitment and share you have a life outside work. And don't share anything controversial. Keep politics and religion out of interviews, or that could be constructed as hurting your career. Question number 12. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? If the position you are interviewing for align with your future goals, now it is time to mention it. Given that over 59% of employers make a full-time job offer to interns, your interviewer is most likely looking for someone with potential for long-term employment. In your response, emphasize what drew you to this career path. You don't need to have a specific future role in mind, but ensure your career goal follow a natural progression from this position to more senior roles in the industry. Your answer should strike a balance between being realistic and being ambitious. But if you aspire to become president of the world by your 30th birthday, it's best to keep that one to yourself. Question number 13. Do you have a prior experience? Don't let this question scare you. If you are a current student or recent graduate, it's unlikely you had an internship or job identical to the one you are interviewing for. But you do have experience. The key to success when answering the question is to relate your experience through school, part-time jobs, extracurricular activities, volunteer work, and internship to the job at hand. In addition, try to quantify your previous accomplishment with specific outcomes and metrics. It lends credibility to your response. Question number 14. Where do you know about our company? The question is one where you don't want to respond with "you are great" or "I know nothing." Instead, the interviewer wants to see that you put in the time to do some research and honestly care about your potential employer. Adding personal touches when answering this question can go a long way. The more you can connect your newfound knowledge to your interests and experiences, the better. Something like, "I appreciate the company's mission because," or "I was excited to see that you are expanding because," will make you more memorable. Question number 15. Why did you apply for this position? Never say that you are just looking for something to pay the bill. As far as your interviewer is concerned, you could pay the bill by selling your things on eBay. Even if your primary motive is to earn a paycheck, focus on other factors that inspired you to choose the job in particular. Your potential employer wants to know what you see in them. So include specific attributes garnered from your research, then highlight how your unique skills are related to these areas. Often interns don't have much relevant experience, so it's okay to say that you applied for that position to gain experience in that field. Just be sure to include a few recent projects or aspect of the company culture that shows you did your research. Questions to ask your interviewer. When asked, if you have any question, always have a few in mind to ask so they can see your genuine interest in learning more about the company, the position and your future co-workers. Here are the questions you can ask. Are there opportunities for full-time work upon successful completion of this role? What are the day-to-day responsibilities for the internship role? How would you describe the company culture? What does your onboarding process look like? How is this position evaluated? What are employers looking for in an intern? When reviewing the interview question, try understanding what the employers want in an intern. Here are some preferred qualities you can discuss during your interview. Be a team player. Teamwork is a requirement in today's workforce. Try to weave examples that exemplify your collaboration skills during your internship interview. Show the ability to lead. Hiring manager want to see that you can take the lead. A leader is about setting a positive example, suggesting improvement, and taking on work when you are not asked to. Show initiative and problem solving skills. Employer want interns who take the initiative. So, if there is a pending task or problem, be sure to help without being asked. Exhibit self-motivation and ambition. Ask your manager for additional work or suggest a task you would like to take on when you are ready for another assignment. This will show your employer that you have ambition. Next step before your interview, take these steps to enter the interview prepared confidently. Research the company. Take some time to research the company, review the company website and review the company missions, values and product. Explore its sustainability, policy outreach program and voluntary opportunities as well. Examine the company's social media account and note posts they may offer insight into the company culture or its values. If you know someone who works at the company, consider meeting or chatting with them before the interview to learn about the company, its history, and the people who will conduct the interview. Prepare your answer. Review the internship interview question listed above and practice your response. Jot down bullet points for each question and note cards so you can prepare them repeatedly until you are comfortable with your answer and delivery. Avoid sounding robotic or too rehearsed. Let answers flow naturally to demonstrate assurance. For each response, include concrete examples and thoughtful responses. If you get stuck while preparing for or during the interview, think of PEI, which stands for passionate, interested and engaged. Craft a response around these attributes for an accurate answer to any question. Practice your interview. Ask a friend or a parent to sit down when you do a mock interview. During this practice, interview wear the professional clothes you plan to wear in the interview. Include the shoes so you can be comfortable on the day of the actual event or change your wardrobe if necessary. Go through the questions and ask your mock interview to give your feedback. For example, were you sitting upright in the chair? Were there questions that you stumbled over? Did you exhibit any nervous habit? Ask them these questions and apply their feedback to improve your responses and preference for the actual interview. If you plan to rehearse alone, create flashcard or record yourself answering the interview question so you can review the video and improve your responses. So guys, that's all for today's video. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Comment your thoughts in the comment section, and if you want more video like this, consider subscribing our channel, hit the bell icon so you never miss any update from Gururo. Thank you. I will see you in the next video.